Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I am enjoying some haunted bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday 7 Ellie, as is the tradition, and looking forward to having a wonderful time chatting with you all. It's been a long day. I'm a little out of sorts. I barely made it in time, so bear with me. I'll get caught up soon enough. But let's see who's joining us so far. Earlier I saw Couch was there. Yes, Couch bought Mexico Pipe Time. Good to see you, Pipe Time. And thank you, Couch, if you're still watching, or should I say El Couch? Couch is south of the border. El Couch is a lot like El Cid, just with more cushions. Big Dave, good to see you. Patrick Grant, Gary Edminster, Kevin Doolin, Paul the Piper. Hello there, Paul. Flint Hill Breyer. Patrick Grant, I think I already said hello to you. There's Bona Piper. Hello, Christian. Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. Robert Miller. And I think we're caught up. So good to see you guys all. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I just got the first light on this as I hit go. And so I will relight it. This was a short week for me. I was still on vacation on Monday. And I spent about 4 hours on Monday raking leaves. Yay. And then there's just been there's been shenanigans at work this week, so I was still working last night at about 11:30. And then I got back to it about 6:30 this morning, and I finished up late tonight. Pouring rain coming home. We were supposed to go watch the Christmas tree lighting tonight, but it's just pouring rain. And yeah, just running on very little sleep. It's a rough time. And end of the year is always like this for us, though. It's a race to the finish line. Oh, there's Lord Hogarth. How you doing there? Michael Case. Michael Case is sniffling while having walnut match in a custom-built Rhodesian. While you're sniffling, are you not feeling well, Michael? I hope not. I mean, I hope you are feeling well, but there's Dry Fly Fisher 11. Doug Owen. How's it going, Doug? Jeffrey Feinberg, Phil Rivera, good to see you, Phil. Stanley Smith, and I think we're caught up once again. You know, for some reason, I'm having more trouble seeing the screen than usual. It's odd. Michael Case is sniffling. Shivering outside, says Lord Hogarth. Yeah, it's cold. Oh, it's the end of your cold. I hope so, Michael. I hope so. But I'm going to be smoking a tobacco later that you might be interested in, given the cold. Kevin Doolin, you're sick too, huh? I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Nasty cold going around, says Big Dave. Yeah, I've heard that as well, Dave. Laking in the Reeves. Stowing away the time, right, Phil? Yeah. You try to take Tim's place there with the earworms? I haven't seen Tim. I don't think he was around last week either. I haven't seen him yet tonight. Hope Tim is doing well. Glenn M. running out of backy. That's not good. How could you let that happen, Glenn? And the Briar Gecko. Well, I'm glad you could join us tonight, my friend. Good to see you. Codger Jim is also sniffling. Oh, you guys keep that on your side of the screen, okay? You know, Paul, I did not need the visual there, but I'm glad to see you got the St. Bruno and the pipe going. Frosted Mint just might do it for you, Michael. Yes. And there's our buddy Hubba Bubba Poem. Good to see you. Try to without the glasses again. I'm really not sure why I'm having so much trouble seeing this. I don't think the distance has changed at all. Interesting. Just getting old. Beverage. Got another one of these Brooklyn Brewery black chocolate stouts. Really nice beer. I enjoy this thoroughly. And I forgot to bring a glass, so I never claimed to be couth anyway. So tonight, just in case you're tuning in for the Tobacco of the Week choice, which I know is the reason a lot of you join me, I've pre-chosen the Tobacco of the Week, so you don't have to worry about that. No need to count to 3 this week. We got it covered. I pre-chosen it because I'm going to actually be debuting my semi-annual Christmas aromatic attempt. And you'll hopefully have a better experience than last week, although probably not a lot better, because what I do every year, or not every year, but, well, if not every year, every couple years, I just get this idea in my head that there's got to be, Christmas just seems like the time when I should be smoking an aromatic tobacco. There's got to be this wonderful Christmas blend out there that I just haven't found yet. And, one that just makes me feel like I'm in the holiday spirit, and everybody around me is going to feel that way. And I don't know, maybe it'll transform me into Santa Claus. But I have not yet found that. In fact, what I have found is an awful lot of stuff I've wound up throwing away. So I'm going to try it again tonight. I got a different one, and we'll talk more about that once we get through the Haunted Bookshop. Wintry weather in eastern PA today. No, Big Dave, rainy weather. Actually quite warm, in the 50s today. On Tuesday, I think, I got up, it had snowed. We had a pretty reasonable dusting of snow on the ground. Nothing that I would have worried about even if it was later in the winter, but it was there. And the forecast was for almost a half inch. But that didn't happen. It just was that morning dusting, which was gone by, noon or so. And it was in the 20s all day. So, no, I'm sorry. It was in the 20s in the morning. It got up to, I think, 36 or something, above freezing. That was the coldest day so far. And, yeah, it's back up to the 50s today. And I'm sorry, I'm getting all confused. The high tomorrow is actually going to be 57. Go figure. So it does. Gary Edminster's already picking number 2, huh? Good to see you, Gary. Poem, I thought you already knew what your Christmas gifts were, Poem. I thought you had already peeked. Rechargeable pocket chainsaw was Christmas gift this year. Well, you can't really beat that. Rechargeable pocket chainsaw, yeah. That's an excellent point. 36 watching and only 9 likes, and you must be afraid this is going to suddenly turn into satanic propaganda. It won't. Well, it rarely does. Palm says he always thought the Tinder block blends were Christmas blends. Yeah, I don't know that I ever had any Tinderbox aromatics, to be honest. Oh, I don't know, pipe time. I mean, I'm never quite sure where it's going to go either, but we don't normally get worse than the whole Ginger Mary Hen argument. I don't think we've ever gone full-blown satanic. It's 0 in London. Wow. That's chilly, Paul. Pineapple Express in the Pacific Northwest. And there's you with the sniffles, Michael. 50s and rain in New York. Yeah, that's what we got here too, Patrick. A lot of rain. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but we were going to go to see the Christmas tree lighting in town today, and it rained the whole time, so we didn't go. Piper on the 45. I can't remember if I said hello or not, but hello. Gary Edminster misses the tinderbox. Yeah, I do too. Actually, I think we might still have one in the King of Prussia Mall here. Glenn wants to know if Santa Claus smoked a pipe. He always did in my experience, Glenn. So Paul the Piper wants to counter that pocket rechargeable chainsaw gift with his own. I'll leave y'all to read that one. Pipe Time's weighing in on the eternal debate. It might get more likes, Brian. That's a good point. Briar Gecko's the tinderbox of the Century 3 Mall is where I bought my first non-drugstore pipe. It was I'm pretty certain it was an Irish second. It was a bent Irish second. And then shortly after that, I bought a really cool, it was a Big Boy brand billiard. It was meerschaum lined, and I loved that pipe, and somebody stole it. And I'm not allowed to tell that story anymore because I tell it all the time. 23 and snowing in your next part of the woods, neck of the woods, part of the world. New Santa has a carrot like Popeye? No. Did they give Popeye a carrot? I didn't even bother to watch the thing. Ah, your first pipe was from Century 3 as well. That's cool. That's cool, Briar Gecko. Yeah, I remember it was kind of funny. I had only smoked a Dr. Graybo, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just wandered into the tinderbox, and there were all these pipes, and I'm looking at them, and there was a woman working there, and she, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm looking at pipes, and she said, do you want it bent or straight or whatever? And I think I said bent, and she pulled out a couple, and they were all reasonably priced. I don't know if I told her a price range or if she just noticed that I was student looking and figured I wasn't going to be buying a Dunhill. But I picked this up, and I think I asked her, I think I tried to turn the stem, and it was tight. And I asked her something like, can I take this apart? And she said, she basically said no. I don't remember how she put it, but it was something like they all have been checked or something. And I said, okay, well, does this take a filter? And I was asking that because the only pipe I knew was the Dr. Graybo that took a filter. And this woman looked me in the eye and said, have you ever smoked a pipe before? Which, was a fair enough question because I was relatively new at it. But just a bit off-putting. And, yeah. Anyway, I did buy an Irish second, and I still have it. Unfortunately, I don't have that Big Boy. Glenn M. wants to know if honey is good for breaking a pipe. I think you meant breaking in a pipe, Glenn. It certainly can be used to break one. And Kevin Doolan says smoking is good for breaking in a pipe. I agree, Kevin, but people have different methods. Some people like to coat it inside a bit with honey or, all sorts of things. Glenn, to be honest, if you just smoke it and you're careful to smoke it all the way down, the first 2 or 3 times, that's the only thing you got to worry about in terms of breaking it in, and then just smoke it a lot. But if you want to try it, there's no harm in putting a little honey in it. I mean, I've heard some rather strange stuff people do inside of pipes, so. Everything from sour cream to grape jelly. I know of a respected pipe maker who I will not name because I don't want to. I mean this with respect and not to make fun of the person, not a YouTube person, who his bowl coating is grape jelly and charcoal, I think. And I think it has to be Smucker's grape jelly too, because with a bowl coating like Smucker's. Doug Owen says when he started at the Tinderbox in PDX in '74, the bulk blends were 5 barley-based, 4 English mixtures, and 3 aromatics. By '85, they added 6 more aromatic plus 1Q and RLP6. Wow. You do go back there, don't you, Doug? Piper on the 45's first pipe was also from a Tinderbox. Nothing too crazy there at all, Yurnik. Those sound like quite nice Christmas blends. I have had the visions of Celophias, not to my liking, but not bad. And I like Maple, I like Autumn Evening, so yeah, be fine. Schultz in Maplewood, New Jersey, where Glenn M. bought his first pipe. Kevin Doolin got a Vaughn from the Tinderbox. It's S-Lippet, yeah. Yeah, that would have been funny. Tried to ream an old pipe and bang the whole shaft split off. It was so burnt out. Oh, that's not good there, Paul. Glenn burned a hole in his sister's car. Wow. Little Piper Todd, how you doing, Todd? Great to see you, buddy. I know, Doug, and I went back there many times. I just think maybe I caught her on a bad day or something. Um, and I don't think she was necessarily. Well, honestly, I'm not sure that she was even supposed to be selling pipes. It seemed almost like she was just filling in for a friend or something. So I don't know, but it was fine. What was the? Sorry, I'm even reading slow tonight. So Brian Woodward says, any of you near enough to Flint, Michigan, Paul's Pipe Shop is struggling to keep their doors open. That's not good. Paul's is an institution there. 80 years and has an amazing new old stock selection. Tomorrow he's doing 50% off. My goodness. Yes, if you're anywhere near Flint, Michigan, don't miss out on that. 50% off at Paul's Pipes is a once in a lifetime opportunity there, Brian. Thank you for sharing that. Taciturn Richard, it does have to be good. Good to see you, Richard. Oh, you had a Smoker's Haven there, Big Dave. We didn't have those. Not that I'm aware of. There's Voodoo 07. Good to see you, Voodoo. Yes, let's help out Paul's if we can. Timber Drifter's first pipe was stamped Tinderbox, but he bought it at an antique store in Oklahoma. Well, you can still be in the first pipe Tinderbox club there, Timber Drifter. A club I just invented as I made that sentence. Barely made that sentence come out of my mouth. Gary Edminster bought 2 Webers in Cuba in '73. That is cool. Glenn M. worked for Tinderbox in Little Rock. Cool. Oh, that is not good, Doug. So Doug bought a pipe at Leonard's and they used a honey and water solution to coat the new bowl, and the cake fell away in chunks. Huh. That is not good. Odd, actually. Glen Hill Briar's got his first pipe at the corner of Happy and Healthy. And they can't beat that, can you, Flannel? Carter Hall, the pipe tobacco that pulls chicks. There's a tagline, Paul. Thank you. Absolutely, Brian. The opportunity is to be able to help a historic shop like Paul's. That would be a real shame to see that close, and to hear that he's struggling. It's sad. Not surprised, Michael. I mean, a standalone pipe shop just isn't gonna do well anymore. Never went to Poor Richard's Briar Gecko. I've been gosh, probably about 10 years ago. I went to a cigar shop in Station Square. I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, Doug. I think that diversification is the only way they can get by. I mean, let's face it. There's just not enough of us to keep these places paying their rent and keeping the lights on. That makes sense, Doug. It may carbonize at a lower temperature than the wood does, and so you get a layer of carbon that's still sitting on raw wood. That's interesting. So I see some folks are talking about Tinderbox Philosopher. That is still available. Apparently, you can still get Tinderbox blends through mail order, because I know my friend Ed, the armchair piper, he smokes Philosopher, and he orders it by I believe from a website that the Tinderbox has. Philosopher is a Christmas blend for Poem. Yeah, I could imagine a lot of Kia sort of blend, maybe a lot of Kia crossover being a nice Christmas blend. Sailor, hello. Smoking Shandy Gap in a Winslow freehand with some Tito's on the side. Very nice. A burned marshmallow. Ha ha, Poem. A Smoking Dog in Maple Shade, New Jersey is where Glenn gets his tobacco. I don't know what the coating was on Yellow Bowl pipes, Michael. It looked like yellow paint. There was a honey coated bowl, but I don't think it was Yellow Bowl. Actually, haven't heard from the Artful Codger in quite a while, Paul. But I've been really out of the loop lately. Haven't been on Instagram much or anything. Mushroom Leg, you can't be late. Good to see you. Oh, that's unfortunate, Lord Hogarth. Brick and mortar burning to the ground. Although I guess if a brick and mortar is going to go out, that's an apt way to end. Grandpa Cavendish put out a video today. Wow, Palm, I did not see that, but I will definitely check that out. Ah, absolutely, Paul the Piper. So Lunting Larry, was it Larry? What's Larry's last name? Was it Higgins? I heard from someone else that Larry wasn't doing well. So yes, definitely let's keep Larry in prayer. Um, I'm checking on this just to make sure I got the name right. Larry Higgins, yeah, that's right. So yes, definitely keep him in your prayers, guys. I didn't know that, Doug. So Tinderbox actually had their own tobacco works in LA of all places. Wow. And Voodoo says Ewan Reese is having a Dunhill trunk sale tomorrow. That is cool. Larry is a lovely man, Paul. So definitely hope he does better soon. Tate Bailey, happy Friday to you, sir. Good to see you. I was just looking at this annoying. I don't know if you can see that. I made a tamper out of a wood that I'm allergic to accidentally. I talked about this last Sunday, and I must have gotten some of it caught under my watch because this is the hand I wear my watch on. Everything else is cleared up, but this darn thing, it's like a patch of poison ivy or something. It will not go away, and it's itchy as all get out. Philosopher is at $6 an ounce? Really, Kevin? Wow. Right now, Glenn, is Haunted Bookshop. I got a surprise for later, but Haunted Bookshop for now. And I bet you would not in a million years be able to guess what the tobacco is for later. That's something, Doug. I mean, it must have been really something to have been around at that time. And I don't mean to make you feel old, Doug. You're not that much older than me. But you know, a time when a tobacco shop would have difficulty keeping a particular blend available, not because it was limited supply or any of that, but just because it was so darn popular. No, it is not Captain Black Grape. Sorry, guys. No, it is not Boswell Christmas cookie. I can't smoke Boswell aromatics. I've tried. People love them, and I thought maybe that was going to be. One year I actually got some Christmas cookie, thinking that could be a. I can't smoke them. The I've got this weird thing with aromatics where I can't smoke any chemically topped aromatics. That just I can't taste the taste. I taste the chemical, and it's not pleasant. Wow, that is depressing, Doug. Used to sell Philosopher for 45 cents an ounce, and that was one of the most expensive blends. My goodness. I think my first time I ordered tobacco by the ounce from a brick and mortar, I think it was under $1 an ounce, but it was probably close to $1. Because I remember thinking that, a pound would be about 15 bucks. So yeah, it was close to $1. Never bought a pound, and that's the interesting thing. There wasn't enough of a price break ever back then. So it didn't matter if you were lived close. That I actually used to walk past this brick and mortar. You could stop in every day if you wanted to and buy an ounce or whatever, and it didn't cost you any more, so you had no need to stock up. And it was always there. You knew it was going to be there. Big Dave is asking how you would describe lamplighter, Doug. You, if you ever tried it, or if anybody else remembers lamplighter. Yes, Paul, there have been many that have gone on before us, and fortunately their videos live on. It's kind of a wonderful thing, get this little time capsule sort of thing. I've often thought to myself, what do all these videos actually wind up meaning? I've got over 600 just those weekend chat type videos. Well, those and like the pipe restoration, anything like that that I consider sort of a formal video where I actually intend to make something. That doesn't count the live streams. Or, like a I'm blanking on the word. When you respond to somebody else's video. Why can't I think of what that's called? Well, anyway, you know what I mean. Those kind of things I'm not counting. I'm just saying the videos where I actually say, okay, I'm going to make a video today and it's going to be on this topic. I've got over 600 of those. That's a bunch of time of me sitting here talking to myself. And I think, boy, if I don't have children, but if I did, and or their children someday wanted to know what I was like, there it is. They can watch it. And then I think, I'm really glad I don't have children because I don't want them thinking that's what I'm like. But it kind of is. It kind of is. I'm not really. I'm pretty transparent, to be honest. I don't have the ability to put on an act, and so it's probably a pretty good representation of me. So, if in the future we have the ability to regenerate people using artificial intelligence, and we just need to have enough information about them, I think YouTube would be fertile ground for that. Because there's an awful lot of us that are just sitting here dumping our lives out onto YouTube every once in a while. Ron Hardcrackers, good to see you, Ron. Oh, that sounds like a nice blend there, Doug. So lamplighter, Virginia Burley, Black Cavendish, aromatic but sweet, not overly goopy. Some natural tobacco profile. Doesn't sound bad at all. Poem says it was Cavendish only. Yeah, I like the Virginia Burley version better, Poem. AI will eliminate us old pipe smokers, says Glenn M. It may do that. Andrew Galloway, good evening. Unsunny Canada, yes, I imagine it is. You know, Urnick, I think if you and Kate did somehow get uploaded into the net, yeah, that would probably be the cause of Skynet. Which would be horrible for everybody else, but for you, it would appear to be a hilarious, fun thing to do. I get it. Oh God, Timber Drifter, that's just that terrifies me. It's bad enough I got to watch all these horrible. Well, I don't have to watch them, but they're funny to watch sometimes. These AI generated videos that are just the top five strangest things that happened in airports or something like that. I see these sometimes and I just think, what? And you click on it and you're watching it and it's like, well, that wasn't really that strange. And then before you know it, it's over and you think, oh, I got roped into that, didn't I? But these things I don't think a human even looks at them. They just dump onto the internet. Big Dave, I don't think I knew that about you. So Big Dave has always had an interest in tobaccos that produce voluminous amounts of thick white smoke. Hmm. Well, Big Dave, you might enjoy my Christmas blend that's coming up. No, I've not seen an AI program that can produce a normal pipe. Most of them wind up being an extension of someone's nose. It's very strange. I think a lot of it is AI generated, Flint Hill. And there's also a lot of when you click on these things on Instagram, sometimes they take you to these, the 40 celebrities that you won't believe what they look like today or something like that. Those things are all AI generated. Thank you, Big Dave. I hope it lives up to your expectations. Yes, Doug, that Virginia Red Cavendish is actually a really interesting tobacco in its own right. Untopped that Cornell and Deal has, and I think it's one of the reasons I like Autumn Evening. That and the fact that the topping is steamed in, so it doesn't just evaporate when you first light it. Flint Hill, that might be the case that it's just people making the computer voice read the script, but I think the script is AI generated too, at least in a lot of cases. Captain Black AI blend. Hey, speaking of AI, I watched a really good movie last week. It's an older one, and it's one that I wanted to see a long time ago when it first came out, and then lost track of it because I don't think it did very well. But it was called Transcendence, starred Johnny Depp, and it was a I thought a well-made movie. It was about a computer scientist working on artificial intelligence. He creates something that, and I don't know, I don't remember when this was made, but I think it might have been the 90s. He creates something that, would be equitable to like ChatGPT today. And then there's a terrorist attack. He winds up getting wounded and eventually has a short amount of time to live and decides to upload himself onto the network to merge with this AI. And the story goes on with that. It's a really fantastic movie. So if you get a chance to see Transcendence with Johnny Depp, this is I think pre-Pirates Johnny Depp, and he was good at it. And he's one of those actors that I don't like him personally, but it seems like whenever I see him in a movie, he kind of disappears into the part. You don't think you're watching Johnny Depp. He does a really good job of becoming the character. Oh, you saw it, Phil? Yeah, it's a great movie. Oh, that's interesting, Big Dave. So, an older neighbor who was a pipe smoker got Big Dave to become an admirer of pipes. Fascinating. I don't know what it's using the ad video for Flint Hill, and I don't want to think about it. I haven't yet. I'm saving Evil Santa for closer to the Christmas season, Phil. I've got 3 movies I'm going to make my wife watch this year. I'm going to try for 4, but I don't think I'm going to get the 4th one. So we're going to do Evil Santa, Chompy and the Girls, Trancers, and I really want to do Black Christmas, but I don't think she'll be able to handle Black Christmas. I'm done with the Haunted Bookshop. We will empty out the ash. And we'll take a moment before I break out the Christmas blend. Was it that recent, Timber Drifter? I don't remember. I remember seeing trailers for it, and so I thought it was older than that, but 8 or 9 years might be right. Black Christmas was one of the first slasher movies. It predates Friday the 13th, Halloween, those sorts of things. It really was one of the earliest movies in that genre. It's a Wonderful Knife. That's got a great title, Yornik. Shame it didn't turn out the way you hoped. I would watch that just because of the title. It's a Wonderful Knife. That's funny. The alternative number 4 is Grinch. Why not, Phil? Okay, Phil's agreeing with Timber Drifters. It was only 8 or 9 years ago. I buy it. That's a good point, Big Dave. It was just Halloween, and here it is December 1st. Yeah. That's right. It was the same guy that did Christmas Story, Mushroom Lake. I forgot about that. There's a 74 and 2006 version of Black Christmas. This one's a Canadian production. I'm assuming it's the 74. Chompy is weird and wild, Lord Hogarth, definitely. But it's one of those movies where you just have to take your brain off the hook and let it wash over you, and it is, I think it's worth it. I really like this black chocolate stout, but I'm starting to think this might have been a mistake given what I'm about to smoke. Ginsu, Brian? The hand can cut like a knife? But this method doesn't work with a tomato. Nightmare on 34th Street. There's no end to the Christmas horror parody possibilities. I want to see a Hallmark Christmas horror movie. That would make me happy. Yes, Sailor. Good call there. The Cornell Smoking Pipes is having a 20% off sale on Cornell and Deal through December 7th. And I can let you all know that because I stocked up on a bookshop already. Hope you'll pocket pipe. Good one, gotcha, Jim. Scrooge Exorcist. Krampus is, yeah, that's a good call, Voodoo. Doug Owen says, PBS production of Nine Tailors, film based on Dorothy Sayers' best novel starring Ian Carmichael as Lord Peter Wimsey. I'll have to look that up, Doug. That sounds really interesting. Everyone's smiling and laughing. That sounds downright creepy, Poem. They're all horror films. Yes, Michael. Really, Patrick? That's incredible. So an AI company has created a device that runs on the T-Mobile network that does real-time translation in your own voice. My goodness. Creator, that would have been nice, wouldn't it? See Ginger and Marianne in elf suits while they were on the island. And Terry Davies says that LJ Peretti Yuletide is now available. Well, with that as a segue, let's talk about the tobacco of the week chosen by me, because I don't trust you after last week. No, I'm just kidding. But last week was quite horrible. So I bought this. I only bought an ounce of it. I've already opened it because I wanted to make sure it wasn't so vile that I couldn't smoke it, which it's not. And I wanted to smoke one bowl around the missus to get her room note impression, because with this being an aromatic, I thought that might be worthwhile. And she actually had some very interesting things to say about it. So I can't show you the label because the way... I think I got this from Pipes and Cigars, and the way they put the label on, I had to cut through it to open the darn bag because they don't make labels that you can peel off anymore. But what this is, and this is going to really shock you, and I'll explain why I decided to get this, because this is insane. This is Sutliff North Pole Peppermint Mocha. Yeah, I bought a mint tobacco. Peppermint mocha. So why did I do this? Well, first off, I'm stupid, and I keep thinking that I'm going to find that Christmas aromatic. And this is a Christmas aromatic, by name at least. The second reason is I cannot smoke most aromatic tobaccos because the chemical flavor just, I can't get past it. I don't taste, if this were mocha, I don't taste mocha, I taste chemical. But I thought, well, peppermint mint is pretty cheap, and I don't know that there's a lot of synthetic mint flavoring. So I thought maybe they're using a natural mint flavor. And while I've never had a mint tobacco, I would imagine it would be pretty darn overwhelming on the palate. And maybe that would take out the chemical flavoring from the mocha. And it was like $1.80 for an ounce, and I was buying something else. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. Smoked one bowl of it in a mirror because I'm sure this will ghost like crazy. I've got, gotta clean the pipe out first. It's terrible. That's from last weekend. It's a cob. I've got my cob here that I often smoke autumn evening out of, which is what I just knocked out of it. But it's clean, honest. And, it's amazing. I smoke a lot of autumn evening in this. I also have some Nutty Irishman. And, well, by a lot, I smoke maybe one bowl every other week. But I can put Haunted Bookshop in this and smoke it, and I don't notice anything different. So this cob at least doesn't ghost. And, let's talk about Sutliff North Pole Peppermint Mocha. So first off, it is loaded with peppermint. I mean, this thing, you smell this, it feels like somebody shoved a peppermint lifesaver up your nose, or a peppermint candy if you don't have lifesavers in your part of the world. It is really loaded with peppermint. Backcountry Pipe, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully not like smoking a cough drop. Indeed. You did warn me, Doug. You did. Mint chocolate wafers are great. Yeah, it's a possibility. Oh, creator, I don't even want to think about that. Mint in copious amounts itself can cause complications, that's sure. And yes, Michael, I heard, it might have been from you, that frosted mint actually tastes natural, although does not make me think of a tobacco I'd want to smoke. Good point, Sailor. Mint is a mild anesthetic, and it may dull the taste buds. Yep. Yes, Yornik, I know about mocha. I know. Okay, and Lord Hogarth, I'm not going to say that. It's funny, but I'm not going to say it. So the tobacco, it's very strongly mint when in the bag, in the pouch. It is a, hopefully you can see through the bag, a typical aromatic. It's got some brown stuff in there, a lot of black stuff, so it's probably a Burley Cavendish. It's moist. It's not dripping wet, but it's definitely moister than I would normally like a tobacco to be. So I'm going to load up this cob. And I'll tell you, since I did have the one bowl last week, I can tell you that this is not horrible. If it was, you wouldn't even be hearing about it right now. It's not something I'm going to keep around normally, but, you know, for an occasional smoke around the holidays, it's not bad. If you're an aromatic smoker and you're just afraid of the mint, you might want to give it a try. I've heard good things and bad things about the corncob pipe and a button nose, Kevin, and I see Terry's I think that's what Terry's commenting on. I've never tried it because I've had such bad experiences with their other Christmas blends. So you light this and it immediately assaults your nasal passages with mint. This thing is, if I had a cold I would want to have some of this. This is like, it's like putting a Hall's cough drop in your mouth, or that level of that menthol flow up through your sinuses. And that is what really dominates this blend for the first quarter or so of the bowl. Do not retrohale this. But here's the interesting thing. The mint does exactly what I hoped the mint would do. Maybe it's just because of the strength of it. Maybe it's because it is anesthetizing my taste buds. I don't know. But I am getting out of this mint and a very, very mild cocoa flavor. Sweet cocoa, not like dark chocolate, but like milk chocolate kind of. And unfortunately, that's it. There's nothing, no tobacco flavors to speak of. It's very cooling on the tongue, and again, if you get any of it up into your sinuses, it's gonna clear them. Yeah, if I had a cold, I think I would probably want to try this, and I may actually pick up some frosty mint. I know Michael said that works for him, and as odd as it sounds, I don't have a lot bad to say about this, other than I can't seem to get it lit right now. Um, could be drier, but of course, if it was drier, it would probably lose a lot of the flavor, and that would be unfortunate because I don't think this has a lot of flavor under the topping. The name, Michael, is Sutliff's North Pole Peppermint Mocha. Flavored with Bengay. Yeah, that's a good point, Gary. I didn't want to think of it that way, but now that you say it. Patrick, I can't say it's similar to mint chocolate chip because it's just too much, it's too pepperminty. Um, so it's got that sort of, I don't know how to put it. It's almost like a hot mint, like a spicy mint. And there's not enough of the chocolate to really say that. But yeah, it's reminiscent of that, certainly. Backcountry Pipe, I said the same thing and ordered this thinking it was going to be just a laughable joke and all that. Um, Again, I'm not gonna stock up on this. Maybe I'll pick up some of the frosty mint just to try next time I have a cold. But I'm surprised. I just put it that way. I'm surprised. I was prepared to be much more disappointed than I am in this. Doug, I haven't had Sutliff candy apple, but I've had the Middleton apple, and this is nowhere near as disgusting as that. Now, one thing about this that was really interesting is I smoked it in the room with my wife, and I told her, this is a new aromatic. I'm going to try. Let me know what you think. And 9 times out of 10, when I ask my wife that, she'll say it smells like everything else you smoke. She doesn't. She's very odd. She doesn't notice pipe tobacco, with a few exceptions. Now she'll, you know, like, if there's a skunk 2 miles away that sprays, she knows about it. And if I happen to leave the toast in the toaster a couple of seconds too long, she knows about it. So it's not like she doesn't have a good sense of smell, but with pipe tobacco, I think she just turned it off. Uh, so I'm smoking this, and normally I have to ask, so what do you think? And she'll just say that it smells like one at bookshop, or I don't smell anything. I didn't have to ask. She actually said, "Ooh, that's nice." She said it smelled like hot cocoa. Oh, Captain Black Adam's apple. There you go, eunuch. Mint leaves don't taste minty when they're dried and smoked. That is interesting, Timber Drifter. Creator, I've only sampled the Haunted Bookshop cake, and I found it to be very, very different. Not anywhere near as good as regular Haunted Bookshop. It seems like they actually took out flavor and complexity somehow. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that was the impression I got from it. Yeah, Lord Hogarth, that's generally my feeling as well. And so far, despite many, many pouches of Borkum Riff, that's never worked for me. Now this still, I just accidentally retrohead a little bit, and it still surprises me with just how much of that sort of menthol blast I'm getting in my sinuses. Not necessarily unpleasant, it's kind of like we had Chinese takeout tonight, and I had a little bit too much of that wasabi mustard. I don't think it's actually wasabi, but the Chinese mustard that blows out your nasal passages. And that was downright painful, when that happens. This is not painful, it's just surprising. Doug, I agree. Let's leave the hot cocoa to the cocoa. I agree. I'm not turning into an aromatic smoker. I'm not suggesting people do that. This one, I wanted to find something to smoke around Christmas that was different, and I found it. I will probably tire of it before we get to Christmas. I only bought an ounce, as you could see, and that's probably more than I'll need. But you know what? Given the utter failures I've had over the years, this is a high point for me. Yep, there's absolutely no cake flavor in Haunted Bookshop cake, Timber Drifter. Bland like cardboard. That's the way. Yeah, that's pretty much what my impressions were too, Sailor. And it's bizarre. I don't know why pressing it would have done that. I mean, I've pressed Haunted Bookshop myself, and it tasted like Haunted Bookshop. It was maybe a little bit. I don't even say it was milder. It was melded. The flavors were a little bit more uniform, but it wasn't anything like that cake. Is that so, Poem? I've had Coleman's mustard and noticed the similarities. Um, didn't realize that that's how it got into Chinese cuisine. And of course, that's American Chinese cuisine. So very interesting. Damning with faint praise, I suppose, Michael. I suppose. It's kind of like picking the best out of the worst in a sense. So, but I'm still happy I can stop trying these goofy aromatics because I have one that now I can just check it, and maybe next Christmas I'll order another ounce. Maybe I won't, but I don't have to think about any other ones. So I'm going to go back to the British taking mustard to China in order to avoid talking more about the Scandi babes in the window, uh, named wasabi, which is thank you, Poem. Uh, I I've told you this before. I sometimes have very strange conversations with Google. That sounds like I'm about to start a psychotic break. I have the Google Home Assistant thing that I talk to, and I'm easily bored, so I'll ask it goofy things sometimes. So tonight I came home after work and I went upstairs to change and I talk to Google usually, and I'll say something like, you can ask it what's new, or tell me something interesting, that kind of, and you'll get stuff like the the red-tailed hawk has the largest wingspan of that kind of stuff, and sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's just goofy. But the fact that it told me tonight was I knew this, but I didn't realize just how deep this goes. So it told me that the Danish, the pastry, speaking of Scandinavian, is actually not Danish. It was imported to uh, Copenhagen in the 1800s from Vienna at a time when the Danish bakers, pastry bakers, were on strike. They were apparently on strike for a prolonged period of time, and apparently the Danes really liked their pastry, so they went and imported from Vienna what we now call the Danish. So I thought, that's interesting. Didn't know you were going to get a little bit of baked goods history tonight, did you? So I said, well, what do they call Danish in places like Copenhagen? I mean, it would be weird to call them Danish, right? So I said, what do they call Danish there? And the answer is they call it Vienna bread, or Wiener Brot, which makes perfect sense because it's a bread-like thing that they brought in from Vienna. Ah, I wonder what they call that in Vienna. Now, it took me a long time to get Google to tell me this because it didn't understand it, and I had to ask the question like 6 different ways, but it finally understood the question. I see you're still talking about wasabi there, Deb. Uh, Finally understood the question, and it informed me that in Vienna, Danish are called Copenhagen Plunder. Now, I didn't have a chance to look this up, but I think the word Plunder in German or maybe Dutch. Uh, I think it comes from the same root as plunder, which would mean to steal. And I think what they call Danish in Vienna is the stuff that the people in Copenhagen stole from us, which is really kind of funny. So, yeah, I probably shouldn't have started this story, but I had to talk about something while you all were talking about women in windows named Wasabi. So, hope you enjoyed that. I haven't seen Grandpa Cavendish's video yet, Backcountry Pipe, but I have had Fire Dance Flake, and it is a nice blend. I think that's the one that just has. Wait a minute, is that? I'm getting too confused here. Is that the Russolette blend that's cinnamony, or is it the other one that's got a little bit of a berry flavor to it? I think it's the cinnamony one, and it's nice. Yeah, I saw that, Patrick. Which, great. Maybe that's the start, and we can do that to everybody that deserves it. That'd be nice. Jim PM, good evening. Yingling Chocolate Porter sounds good. And Peretti's TD Burley, nice. You know what, Palm? I'm just going to stop reading until the whole woman in the window thing dies down, because I just can't do that. Stolen pastries. Yes, indeed, Ford. Yes, indeed. And then you got the whole Christmas stolen thing, which makes me wonder. Good to see you, Ford. I was really afraid that this beer was going to clash with this tobacco, but it's playing nice. Probably not the best choice of a pairing, but it's not as bad as I had feared. That's interesting, Timber Drifter. If Fire Dance Flake is the cinnamon one, I really enjoyed it. And different chemistries and such. If it's the berry one, it was okay. But I just can't remember. I might be thinking of Founding Fathers. No, that was the pomegranate one. This is oddly turning into sort of an aromatic goopy topping show, which is not my thing normally. Fiber Sid. He says Firestorm is Russ's blend, so that's probably the cinnamon one then. Okay. So I don't know if I said this already or not, but around the halfway point or so, maybe a little bit beyond that, the mint kind of dies down. It's still there, but it's much milder. And now you get more of that mocha, and you're starting to get some of the tobacco, but unfortunately, it's just sort of a bland, somewhat ashy Cavendish at this point. So this might not be one that you're going to want to smoke to the bottom of the bowl, to be frank. Flint Hill, that is my Christmas beer. I get a 6-pack of Sweet Baby Jesus every Christmas. I know it's sacrilegious, but I just think it's a delicious peanut butter porter, and it's hilarious. So The week of Perique went just fine, Ford. I finally was able to get the Lakelands out of my mouth, and it was wonderful. I don't even want to think about what a Hallmark pipe tobacco would be, Codger Jim. I'm guessing it would have to be cookie flavored. I don't know. Is that really a show, Yornik? The woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. That's quite a title. German bakeries can be very good things, creator. Although I have a bit of a bias given how I grew up and where I grew up, but Italian bakeries are also a very good thing. Less so right now, Piper said, but when I first lit it up, yeah, retrohaling was quite an experience. Jim PM, believe it or not, I am smoking Sutliff's North Pole Peppermint Mocha. Absolutely, Doug. I don't think Jesus would mind us having a drink now and then, and the fact that this one's named after him. So, Briar Gecko, do you think just a peppermint blend would be a Hallmark pipe tobacco? I don't know. Yes, Ford, it is peppermint mocha. Yeah, didn't think you'd be tuning in for that, did you? Oh, Jim, I feel for you. I think I'm with you on that, Sailor. I do prefer a lighter beer with a burley. Yeah. Although I tend to enjoy, well, I like lagers. Um, and I think a lager would pair fine with a burley. But I do like the occasional stout, and I can't stand IPAs. So a stout or a porter, I like them, but I don't think they're the best pairings with burley blends. So Jim PM, I've been watching. I've been in Hallmark Hell, which you guys know, 'tis the season. There's no way around it. My wife just puts it on and just, I mean, she doesn't even ask until it's like 11:30 at night, and she'll say, "Oh, do you want to watch something?" Yeah. I, in, in the last 10 minutes before I fall asleep, let me take control of the TV. Um, but I was thinking, I've been watching a lot of these horror and cult movie reviews on YouTube, which I really like Brandon Tenold. He does a fantastic job. Not kid friendly, not family friendly, but very funny stuff. And I've been watching a lot of that, and I thought, why hasn't anyone done this for Hallmark movies? I know there's some women that have done it, and they're not funny. They're doing it from a woman's perspective of this. But if a guy actually took this apart, and treated it honestly from a male point of view, I think that could be hilarious. Of course, Hallmark would probably have it shut down for copyright violations instantly, but I would love to see that. Oh, don't bring up cannolis, Mark. That's evil. Have not been to any bakeries in Little Italy in New York City, Patrick, but that sounds fantastic. We are thinking about a trip over my Christmas vacation to New York City, just to do a little shopping and stuff. So is where does Little Italy lie in terms of like downtown Manhattan? Is that a reasonable distance? I think Carter Hall is a fine aromatic briar gecko. Not a sin at all. Yeah, it's probably close to right there, Yornik. Yes, Michael, I've heard that Aquinas joke, and it is apt. When you drink wine, drink more than a little. Jim PM, I get it, and I think if I was trying to defend this as a standalone tobacco, I'd probably put it in the bin of shame as well. I'm just comparing it to all the attempts I've had at finding a Christmas aromatic, and it is just much better than anything else I've tried, and that's because the mint is anesthetizing my tongue, so I don't taste anything. That's right, Timber Drifter. I try to provide a variety of entertainment. Well, for it to slightly put myself back on the rocker, but granted, I'm hanging off the edge of the seat. It's not my Christmas aromatic this year. It's the only aromatic I've found that I could consider to be a Christmas blend that I might smoke more than once. I've got a solution for you, Jim PM. I know the problem, and you do not want to learn the actors' names. Do not do that. What you do instead is you try to think about what other actors they look like, and you make up a goofy name for them. So there's one guy, I don't know his name because I don't care. Um, I call him, what the heck do I call him? Dime Store Charlie Sheen. And if you've seen enough Hallmark movies, you probably know who I'm talking about. And it's gotten to the point where my wife now calls him Dime Store Charlie Sheen. So I've managed to completely strip this person of his identity and created an alternate identity for him. I highly recommend you take that approach. It is decadent. Well, Patrick, I think I might have to try to find that. Little Italy sits above Chinatown. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at a map and see. Hey, Patrick, it'd be great to meet up. I don't know how long we're going to be there. If it's just going to be a day trip or if we're going to spend a couple days, but I'll let you know for sure. You're a better man than I, sailor. A good cigar, Pom. Anything in the Aroma de Cuba line is good. Anything that's that's Don Pepin. Anything that he touches is a good cigar. Okay, Jim PM saying if you like hot chocolate, the Country Squire Polar Express is a good tasty Christmas one. And figgy pudding is good. Unfortunately for me, Jim, I've tried Country Squire's aromatics. I've tried Boswell's aromatics. I just cannot smoke them. It's the chemical toppings that they use. And I wouldn't be able to smoke this if it wasn't for the fact that the mint is just destroying my taste buds. Dime Store Charlie Sheen would be a great band name, wouldn't it? Good one, Timber Drifter. The other fun thing to do with the Hallmark Christmas movies is about every third movie, a character will show up who will be an older man, usually slightly overweight, with a white beard. He'll be very pleasant and helpful, and often appear to be almost magical in his abilities to help people. And he'll introduce himself as either Nick or Chris. And this happens, and I'll turn to my wife and say, "Oh, he's not Santa." No. They are so thinly veiled. And I don't, there's nothing enjoyable about them, but you find ways to get through it. So the plots are so repetitive that you don't have to really pay attention to anything that's happening. You can just focus in on details, and you start to notice things like they just parked the car, got out, and they're walking in the snow, and the windshield wipers are still going on the car. And nobody thought that that was odd. Yeah, little things like that happen. It's not fun, but it's the most fun you can have when your wife forces you to sit there with a Hallmark movie on. Yeah, Doug, yeah, I know. I, Doug, you know that I would rather be smoking Haunted Bookshop right now. Randy Travis, that's interesting, Backcountry Pipe. I'm not getting the connection, but I'm not placing Randy Travis. I'm a bit slow tonight. So I don't know about a drinking game. I do have a Hallmark Christmas bingo game that my wife bought, which is a bingo card that has things like someone drinks hot cocoa. And the funny thing is, it's recognizing how repetitive these things are. You rarely can watch a Christmas movie and not get bingo. I was going to send money, but already sealed the envelope. That's a good one. Of course, they wrote that in the card, right? We don't sell drugs, but we make them seem like a good idea. Thank you, Yornik. Brian Dawkins, you have a great weekend, buddy. Thanks for joining us. I don't know, Jeffrey. I mean, some of the ones that I am absolutely not going to smoke anymore, I'm probably going to send to folks that might like them. The ones that, oh, Jeffrey just rejected his message. So, but I'll continue to answer anyway. The ones that I think I could continue to smoke, I'll put back into the mix, and we'll choose them in future weeks. Rubber was a much deeper movie, Sailor. Yes. You know, Jim, the thing that I appreciate about Hallmark is, for the most part, it is completely non-offensive entertainment. It's not very good. It's not interesting storylines or anything, but it's very rare that something happens in a Hallmark movie that gets my blood pressure up. You know, it's pleasant. It's family focused. It's, you know, not pushing any buttons. And so much of what I see, I mean, even the commercials during Hallmark movies are more offensive than the movies ever are. So that's one thing I can give them. But that's sort of like saying this tobacco is good because it anesthetizes your tongue, you know. Oh, so he was in the made-for-TV holiday movies. Gotcha, Mark. Yeah, I think Yernick is definitely at the top with that one, Brian. Yeah. Rolling Stones coming to Seattle. Ground level tickets, $11,000. Are you kidding me, Doug? I got to see the Rolling Stones at Desert Trip, and I saw them along with The Who, Roger Waters, Paul McCartney, Neil Young, and Bob Dylan. You know, the 3-night series of concerts. And I think that the ticket price, the hotel, and the flights did not cost $11,000 for that. That is unbelievable. And Neil Young was the highlight of that trip, which surprised me because he was the one I was least looking forward to seeing. Oh, Timber Drifter, I'm so sorry we've put that thought in your mind. Well, my wife is a Rolling Stones fan, which is one of the big reasons we went to that Desert Trip concert. Um, I could take them or leave them. Actually, I'd probably leave them. But anyway, she told me the other day that and maybe this is the problem, Doug. She said that the only way to get tickets for the concert is to go through AARP, which I thought was a joke at first, but it actually was apparently true in some way. So maybe you can get a discount on that through AARP. But then the more I thought about it, I thought that's just really, really funny. Rolling Stones, brought to you by the American Association of Retired People. Yeah. Can't get no circulation. That'll go a long way in Copenhagen, Lord Hogarth. And we'll even cover the subsequent medical bills. The one thing that really surprised me about seeing the Rolling Stones, now this was maybe 5 years ago we went. I don't know. Um, I was all prepared for the cadaverous Keith Richards and all that, but He came out and did a solo set because I think he had a blues album that was coming out, if I recall. And he did a solo set, and he was articulate. He was upright. He seemed to be like completely revitalized compared to anything I've seen of him in the past 20 years. I don't know if they've replaced him with a robot or something, but I was really shocked at how good he looked and how understandable he was when he talked. And he played guitar and he sang blues, and you could actually understand what he was singing. It was quite odd, actually. And I don't, other than alcohol, I don't use any drugs. But one of the issues with Desert Trip was it was this large venue, and there were a lot of people uh, not smoking tobacco. Let's put it that way. And I sometimes wonder if maybe I inhaled a little too much of that smoke, and I just thought he was articulate, because it shocked the heck out of me. I was really expecting him to be just a babbling husk. It's AI. It could be Brian Gecko. Yeah, he certainly. They sounded great. I mean, if you were to close your eyes and just listen to it, they sounded exactly the way you would expect the Rolling Stones to sound in the 70s. How much of that is real and how much of it is synthetic, I don't know. But uh, yeah, it was really really something to see. But I'm still if it was only a Rolling Stones concert, we wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have gone. And if it was $11,000, we wouldn't have gone. That is just ridiculous. Well, folks, I'm just noticing. I believe we have gone overtime. Wasn't really paying much attention, but I guess that's what I get for babbling about Danish. And I still have a wee bit of. I don't know if you can see through the bottle there, but we'll take care of that. The other nice thing about Sutliff North Pole Peppermint Mocha, yeah, I said it again, is that it doesn't leave much of a mouth ghost. I don't know if other people use that term or not, but uh, that stuff I smoked last week was really hard to get out of my mouth. I mean, I had that taste with everything I was eating. Garlic wound up doing the trick. We had pizza with garlic on Saturday night, or we had pizza and I put garlic powder on it, which I normally do, and that it just was like magic. It just went away after that. So kind of interesting, but yeah, no issue at all with this stuff. Again, I'm not saying run out and buy it. It's just something different, something fun. College age people listening to the Doors? That's interesting. Night, Jeffrey. Have a great weekend, buddy. I agree, Poem. I like mustard. I even like just plain old yellow mustard. I think it is an uncelebrated comment. Briar Gecko, you have a great weekend too. Peppermint gnomes are real. Oh, well, Jim PM, we have a disagreement, and that's just fine. Everybody's taste is different. But again, I'm not saying go buy it. I don't like it that much. Is the Whiskey A Go-Go still the Whiskey A Go-Go, Flint Hill? Thank you, Piper on the 45. You have a great weekend, buddy. You know, garlic, I don't think I'd smoke a garlic tobacco either for it. Can't go wrong with a good mustard, indeed, Flint Hill. Mustard Museum in Wisconsin. Well, now I've got a reason to go to Wisconsin. Mustard goes good with cheese. Of course, Jim. And hey, at least I know when I get tired of this and still have most of the ounce left, I won't send it to you. Jim Morrison was a really weird dude, Sailor. Yeah. I read that book that was written by one of the members of the Doors wrote a book about him. I can't remember what it's called, but it had him on the cover when I was in high school, and it was strange. It was very strange. Interesting, but and then they made that book into a movie in I'm not batting 1,000 with the timeline tonight, but I think it was in the early 90s, late 80s. And Meg Ryan was in it, which was a reason for me to see a movie back then. And yeah, other than her being in it, it wasn't a good movie from what I recall. No one here gets out alive. That was the book, Big Dave. Yep. Oh, I get to try the state pastry of Wisconsin, Racine Kringle. That sounds like fun, Timber Drifter. I'm sure it was full of crap, Flint Hill, but it had Meg Ryan in it. I mean, that's only slightly below having Mrs. Peel in something. Beaver Mustard, company that makes flavored mustards. Interesting. And I will, as I'm finishing this up, I'll just make a statement that don't bother rebutting this because you're wrong if you don't agree with this. There is nothing on this planet that's worse than those honey mustard flavored pretzels. Those things are vile. Anybody that eats them is wrong. And that's coming to you from a man that just smoked a bowl of peppermint mocha pipe tobacco. So you can take that to the bank. Anyway, it's hard to find Yingling there because it sells out so quickly, Voodoo. I could bring a 6-pack in just to enjoy the Kringle. O&H Bakery. Okay, I will definitely have to make it. I'm sure I'll make a trip there someday, and I'll have to keep the Kringle in mind. I think the movie I'm talking about was Val Kilmer, Patrick, but it's been a long time. It had Meg Ryan in it. Good night, occasional Clay Piper. Oh, I don't even want to think about what Meg Ryan looks like right now. Sailor, the last time I saw her, she apparently had a bad plastic surgery thing happen, and it was just sad. It was very sad. What comes next? I'm not going to look for that movie, Sailor. Night, Ford. Good to see you, buddy. Have a great weekend. So, with that, we will be saying good night. Thank you all for joining me and for staying a little bit late. Sorry about that, but good chatting with you all. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be back on Sunday with my usual Sunday video, and we'll be right back here next Friday. So I hope to see you then. I will try to be a little bit more awake next week. So thanks for putting up with me, guys. Take care, and we'll talk soon.